כל השנה הלכות בכל יום מובטח לו שהוא בן העולם הבא בעזרת השם. Today is the first, 13th of the month of Kislev, Sunday, the first day of the week of Parashat, בעזרת השם, Parashat Vaishlach. Trying to figure out what's going on with the video. Oh, nothing. Okay, good. Got scared. Okay, so B'ezrat Hashem, we are going to be learning two mitzvot today. Mitzvah number 121, when there is a person obligated to do, he is obligated to bring a korban for his guilt or for his sin that he has committed that obligates a state of a sin that will result in karet, for instance, eating chametz on Pesach, which is by mistake, he didn't know. Then it's a mitzvah. Then it's a punishment of karet. So there, in that case, he would have to bring a korban chatat. Mitzvah number 122. We'll be discussing today a testimony, which was here in discussion in the Yeshivath for a while. Does the Torah obligate a witness to come front or not? Monetary, no. We'll learn that, but anything that's evil that was done in Israel, a testimony has to come forth. So the question will be, which elements he is obligated. All right, so B'ezrat Hashem. Now, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this computer, with this recorder. Okay, maybe this way it's better. Okay, let's see. All right. So today, B'ezrat Hashem, the mitzvot are mukdashim, B'ezrat Hashem, le'ulu nishmat, all the people who are niftar from this world, who didn't have anybody left over and need Kedusha v'Torah to go higher elements of holiness in the levels in the Neden. So Hashem should take all our limut and sanctify them and make them magdish utam higher and higher because of our limut. And also B'ezrat Hashem, that Hashem should return this zchut of this limut. Hashem should have mercy on Am Yisrael and release and return all the Jews who are in captivity, whatever form they are. Hashem should have mercy on all of them and immediately release them, not little by little. Mamash, we need them all back, and not some kind of game with Hamas. We want all the hostages back. B'ezrat Hashem. Hashem, please forgive us for all our averot. All the Jews, we suffering a lot, and we know that we deserve the suffering. But you are the King, and maybe it's time to call it enough the suffering. But you decide. But please have mercy on us. Also, all the soldiers should come back without any harm. There's some bad reports that are out there that this is just the beginning, and Hashem should have Rahmanut, and all the plans of the world dominators or people who think they dominate this world, who believe that Hashem is not in charge. Hashem, we know that you are in charge. Please make them all fail in their tasks, and nobody should do no more harm to anybody. Only the evil people, all evil seekers should be destroyed. And please forgive us all of Averot Hashem, and send refuah shlema to all Cholei Amo Yisrael, all the people who were sick. B'ezrat Hashem, mitzvah number 121. Sheyakriv kol shokek bechet מהחטאים הגדולים הידועים קורבן החטאת. Anyone who does a grave sin that is recognized as a grave sin should bring a sacrifice, a korban of a guilt offering or a sin offering. Shneimar, as it says in the Torah, Vayikra chapter 4, pasuk 27. If there is a soul, there's an individual who sins from one of the Jewish people, you should bring a This is what is called a sin offering. That is this is established. Hatakavua means it's established sin offering. Sometimes we have a sin offering according to a person's pocket, but this is regardless of a person's pocket. This sins that the person commits, he has to compensate and bring on the altar special, we should say dedicated korban, sacrifice. כלומר שהיא לעולם קורבן בהמה ולא יעלה וירד לפי עושר המקריב ועוניו. Specifically talking about an animal sacrifice that must be brought to the Mizbeach, and it will not go according to the pocket of the sinner. והחטאים שהתחייבו עליהם חטאתיהם לעולם אותן שחייבים על זדונות כרת. Now this is what we're talking about, specifically a sin offering for any sin that if a person does it on purpose, his soul will be ripped out. It has to be a mitzvah that the Torah prohibits, and there has to be a deed. Like I told you, achilat matzah al achilat chametz on Pesach. Okay. Karet ubetnai. Okay. Kvar amarnu. We already explained the mitzvah number 895. Okay, and also 102. כי משורשי הקורבן להשפיל הנפש החוטאת כחטאת וכאשם תורה אחת להם. הנני צריך להחזירו על כל אחד ואחד. Again, we already explained the purpose of the korbanot is to bring down your sinful thoughts and your sinful feelings, to break you down and to elevate and rebuild you. As we already said many times, the purpose of the korban is to put you back into the center and continue marching through your goal till the last day of your life, where your goal is. So, in order not to continue sinning, this korban was the purpose of the korban is to elevate you back from the steering that you did to the left or the right, put you back in the center. Medina mitzvah is already spoken. The kagon ma shamru zechon b'bracha. As our sages told us in Masechet Chorayot, page 9 and Mishnah side 1, she'en chiyuv hashogeg lehavi chatat ela al avera shechayavin al zdona karet. Now, not for every sin that you did by mistake, you have to bring a korban. The main aspect of the sin has to be that if you did it on purpose, you would be karet. Karet means ripping out of the soul. ויש בתורה 3 חטאים שאף על פי שיש בזדון כרת אין בשגיגתן חטאת. There are three sins that actually also if you did it on purpose you'll get correct, but if you did it by mistake you don't have to bring a korban. ואלו הן, these are מגדף ומבטל מילה וחדל מעשות הפסח. מגדף, somebody has shalom is blessing God's name, or somebody who doesn't want to do Brit Milah, or somebody doesn't want to bring a Korban Pesach. And everyone which explains over there why on all those three elements, three sins that we just mentioned, even though there is a deed, but there's no deed actually, preventing from you doing a Milah. So okay, maybe that's, or preventing from not doing the Korban, or even though there is an inaction over here, there's no deed. So I don't know why the Rabbi brought it here. Also, what about Megadev, a person who's blessing Hashem? There is no actual deed here, but somebody did it by mistake. He would not bring. He would not be karet. He would not bring. He doesn't have to bring a karet. Again, so all these three just sins that we mentioned, he doesn't have to bring a korban chatat kavua. Okay, if he did it by mistake. Kol shar avirot do not karet. However, all other avirot that if you did it on purpose, you'd get karet. When you did it by mistake, you have to bring an animal for a sin offering. You can't bring flour if you're poor. Doesn't matter. Except for one instance where a tameh, an impure person, not allowed to eat a kodesh, anything that's holy. And if he did tameh in the mikdash, or somebody who is tameh and impure enters in the mikdash, that if the person did it on purpose, over there he has karet. And if they did it by mistake, of those instances, they should bring a different kind of sin offering that goes according to their financial standings. נמצאת, נאמת שכל העבירות שבתורה שיחיד מביא על זגתן חטאת קבוע. So now, all we come to conclusion that all the sin offerings that a person has to bring the korban, shalosh ve'arba'im hem. There are 43. צא וחשוב, go and find out, כי כן תמצאם ורובם באריות. Most of them are obviously from arayot, but illicit relations. וכן בעניין זה, מה שאמרו זכרונם לברכה, also amongst this is what the sages told us in Shabbat Kuf Yud שאין חיוב הקורבן עד שיהיה שוגג מתחילה ועד סופה. We have to understand that how does shogeg work by mistake. It has to be with the intention from the beginning to the end of the deed, with not on purpose. וחילוקי הידיעות שאפשר שיהיו לשוגג ושגיגתו רבות. Okay, there's a lot of different ways how a person could make a mistake in his behavior there. ויתר רובי פרטיה מבוארים בהוראיות, the Gemara in Horayot, page 8, also page 9, discuss in depth about this whole concept of doing mistakes in sins and how atonement is to be fulfilled. וכריתות, in פרק ב' משנה א' over there, chapter 2, chapter 4. Sorry. ובמקומות שמשבת, and also מסכת השבת, page 67 and page 73. And also שבועות, page 19, over there, וזבחים, and also in זבחים. נוהגת בזמן הבית, בזכרים ונקבות, מצווה to bring a korban, obviously, was only in the time of the Beit HaMikdash, males or females, ועובר עליה, ולא יקריב חטאת. Anyone who did a sin, who transgressed this Avirah, and did not bring a sin offering, B'tel say he transgressed against Hashem's command, and that's a great sin in itself. Mitzvah 122. Now, this is a very tricky mitzvah. What is exactly entails? Am I obligated to testify or not? We had a whole big discussion in the Yeshiva about it about 2 weeks ago, and today maybe we'll get more into details in mitzvah d'oraita. 122. Sorry. 122. להגיד העדות בפני הדיינים בכל מה שנדעהו. Any Jew that witnessed a sin, a grave, whatever, a grave sin or any sin that will cause bad for the Jewish nation, he is obligated to come to Beit Din and say it. בין שנתחייב בעדות מיתה או ממון המועד עליו. אוקיי? בעדות מיתה או ממון המועד עליו, או שיהיה הצלתו בממונו או בנפשו. אוקיי? A person must testify מיתה או ממון, מיתה או ממון המועד עליו, אשר העד מעיד עליהם, that he is aware of death penalty or a payment penalty, או שיהיה זה סיבת הצלתו בממונו או בנפשו, or any reason that a person will be saved through his action, through his testimony, שעל ידי העדות יתברר שהוא זכאי, that will clear a person from his obligation. Let's say I know that Yosef paid Reuben back the money, and Reuben says no, and now he takes the Yosef to the Beit Din, but I know I saw him pay him back, so then I have an obligation to go and tell the Beit Din that yes, Yosef paid back. Okay, שנאמר והוא עד, as the Torah tells us in chapter 15, Vayikra, Pasuk Aleph, if he is a witness. Here, here's a Vayikra Hey Aleph. V'nefesh ki ticheta v'shama kol Allah. A person who sinned and he heard any cursing, v'hu ed, and he's a witness, or ra'ah, or he saw, or yada, or he knows, im lo yagid, if he does not testify, v'nasa bono, then he carries the sin. What is going on here? Let's see. B'chol inyan chova aleinu le'agid ha'edut lefnei Beit Din. In any obligation, we are obligated to come to Beit Din and testify what we saw. ואולם חילוק יש בין דיני ממונות לדיני נפשות. There is a difference between monetary cases and obviously the penalties of harming an individuals. For instance, ushar isurin and all other transgressions in the Torah. The Rabbi says now this is the difference. These are the differences. שבדיני ממונות אין אדם חייב להעיד עליהם מעצמו אלא אם כן יתבענו בעל הדבר או בית דין. So now, in order to obligate an individual to pay a balance, okay, I am not obligated to go and say yes, I know for a fact Yosef owes Reuben money. I'm not obligated, okay, unless a beit din or somebody summoned you. If you are summoned, then you're obligated. But on your own, you don't have to come. ובדיני נפשות ובעדות שאר איסורים שבתורה כגון שראה אחד שעבר. However, any sin that there's a capital punishment involved, or a person transgressed in a prohibition, okay, והן בעדות נפשות כגון שראה מי שהרג בחברו. So, or he saw somebody killing somebody Michalel Shabbat, somebody did znut. Over here, it's a mashma. Even he saw a woman commit a crime of adultery. He knows she's a married woman. Or beidut makot shehika ha'echad et chavero. Or he even saw somebody fighting and hitting somebody. בכל זה חייב אדם לבוא מעצמו ולהגיד העדות לפני הבית דין. In all this, a person is obligated to come to Beit Din and tell what he saw. Why? כדי לבאר הרע ולהפריש בני אדם מאיסור. In order to destroy the evil from the Jewish nation and to separate people from the transgressions. בשלושה מצווה לפי שיש במצווה הזאת תועלת גדולה לבני אדם, אין צריך להעריך בהם, כי ידועים הדברים לכל רואי השמש. Anybody who sees the sun clearly could understand why giving a testimony to bring out to the light the actions of people and the obligation from the Torah in order to cleanse. It's clear to everybody. We don't have to explain more than that. דיני המצווה כגון החילוקים שגילו לנו חכמים, זיכרונם לברכה, שהם במצווה זו בין איש לאיש. Here we have the difference, as our rabbis have told us, the difference between in this mitzvah between men and men. שלא כל אדם חייב לבוא לפני בית דין להעיד להם. Not every time a person is obligated to come to בית דין to testify. For instance, שאם היה העד חכם גדול והבית דין הפחות ממנו, if the witness was a big Talmid Chacham, and the Beit Din are three people, not so smart as him, שיש לו להימנע אם ירצה מלהעיד לפניהם. In this case, this Talmid Chacham he has preference, his allowance. The Torah tells him that since he is much wiser than these three guys sitting in the Beit Din, he doesn't have to come before them. שעשה של כבודה דוחה עשה דעידות. Because the obligation that they have to honor him is his Talmid Chacham. Let's say Rabbi Yosef, Rishon LeZion, a big Talmid Chacham, a Beit Din somewhere in Miami that decides to invite him to Beit Din. He could say, "I'm sorry, people, I don't know who you are," and he could refuse to coming. And they have to honor him more than what he has to honor them. וכן, כהן גדול, גם כן אינו חייב להעיד, אלא עדות שהיא למלך בלבד. So too, a great Kohen is not obligated to give testimony in any Beit Din, unless it's a king who is summoning him. ומלכי ישראל לא מעידין על אחרים, and so too, the kings of the Jewish nation, they will not be obligated to be witnessed anywhere. ולא אחרים לעליהם, and nobody would come to be witness for them. משום מעשה שהיה, as there was a story in the I guess in the time that was there. כמו שבא בסנהדרין פרק כהן גדול, if you could see the story in page Sanhedrin, page 19 over there, the first side. אבל מלכי בית דוד מעידין ומעידין בעליהם ודנין אותם. However, the kings of David and David's lineage are allowed to be, they were obligated to give testimony, and they were obligated to give testimony. Give testimony, and they could get, basically they could get and give. Okay. ואין נמנעים מלקבל עדות בשביל אהבה ושנאה. There's no שיש לעד כלפי מישהו מעיד עליו. ואין נמנעים מלקבל. Now, we accept testimony from everybody, even from the friends. כשארית ישראל לא יעשו עוולה בעדותם, it doesn't matter, because most Jewish people are not looking to do evils with their testimonies. אבל לעניין הדין אינו כן. To hear the testimony, it's okay. But the ruling, according to Beit Din, that will be different. שאין דנין האוהב והשונא מפני שהשונא אין רואה זכות ולא האוהב חובה. So in reference to where there's going to be a punishment of some sort, then if it's a person who hates somebody, obviously he's gonna falsify his testimony, or somebody who loves somebody, he's also gonna falsify. So from those lovers and haters, we don't listen. It has to be people from the side. וכתב הרמב"ם, זיכרונו לברכה, and there the Rambam explains, שעיקר העדות של תורה הוא מפי העדים ולא מפי כתבם. The whole testimony of the witnesses has to be from their mouths and not from their writings. As it says, על פי, from their mouths. אלא שחכמים מפני תיקון העולם שימצאו בני אדם ללמוד, However, the rabbis, in cases only monetary, they have allowed this testimony, witnesses, with writing. And you're going to say, how come in Ketuvah, there's witnesses written, right? How we expect Ketuvah? Also, it's money. Ketuvah is money. The Kiddushin and Nisuin is one thing. Ketuvah is another thing. והרבן זיכרונו לברכה הקשה עליו בספר המצוות הרבה על זה והירך העניין אם באתי לכתוב ולא כלל עבר כי הרמב"ן זיכרונו לברכה סובר שעדות שטר דאורייתא הוא נכתיב וכתוב בספר וחתום. Okay, according to Ramban, no, he's not in that any contract has to be also witnesses by mouth. All right, so in order to claim the money, it has to be, according to Ramban, witnesses by mouth. According to Rambam, no, and that's what we accepted today. The whole world today accepted the Rambam, that writing a contract by witnesses is more than enough, sufficient to claim the money. בדיני המצווה גם כן, מה שאמרו זכרונם לברכה, שכל אדם שהגיד עדותו בפני בית דין, קראוהו כרצונם, אין יכול לחזור ולסתור דבר מכל מה שהגיד בפניהם ולומר שמוטעה או שוגג היה. Any, of course, again, also a person who was back and forth with the judges, and they clearly declared his testimony to be true after his total deliberation. Now he's not allowed to go back on his words. Okay, ואפילו נתן טעם לדבריו אין שומעים לו. Even if he comes and brings a good explanation where he tricked the Beit Din, once the Beit Din has ruled that his testimony is accepted, he is not allowed to go back on his word and say, I was lying. Okay? וכן עדות שבשטר הרי הוא כעדות שקראוהו בית דין כרצונם, ושוב אין העדים יכולים לחזור בהם בשום דבר בשום משטר. So again, same thing, any contract that the Beit Din made valid with the witnesses that are signed on it, no witnesses could come and say that they didn't mean to sign. Again, if they're claiming they never signed, it's a different story. We're talking about where they signed and it's verified that it's their signatures, but they cannot say, I didn't mean to say, I didn't understand the contract when I signed it. That doesn't work like that. ודנין על פי החתומים, בכל דבר הכתוב בשטר, anything that's signed by the witnesses, that's how we judge in the contract. והוא שנהיה בריאים, שאותם החתומים, אם חתומו הוא אותו שטר ולא זייפו מזייף. Obviously, we're talking about specifically where the contract has been validated and there's no false signatures. וזאת, החקירה יש לנו לעשותה על פי אנשים שיכירו אותם החתימות שהן כתיבת אותם האנשים החתומים. וצריכים לנו שני עדים שיכירו שתי החתומים, כל אחד מהם יכירו שני העדים, וכן אם שניים מן העדים בעצמם מכירים אותם, די לנו בכך. או אם החתומים בעצמם לפנינו ויעיד, כל אחד ועל חתימתו, די בכך. אבל האחד אינו יכול להעיד על כתיבתו ועל כתיבת חברו. So again, it has to be that the contract either was validated by both witnesses. One witness cannot validate his signature and his friend's signature. We need to have both signatures there. Or there are other two people who know that could validate another signature. What about two signers and the one that is present, and then there's another witness who comes and says, yes, I know that signature, so now you have two people testifying on one signature. So there's a lot of, so in all those things, again, how to clarify contracts is all discussed later. That's not the point here. The question is just the mitzvah 122 about the giving testimony. Okay, all those discussions are in reference to מה שאמרו זכרון ברכה, גם כן שבעדות של החתימה נאמן קרוב להעיד על כתיבת קרובו שהוא מכירה. Okay, so again, all those discussions about signatures. Now, מה שאמרו שעשרה בריות פסולות לעדות מן התורה. Now, very important. Another rule is there are 10 people who are prohibited to testify ever. כמו שכתבנו למעלה במצוות אל תשד רשע עד, we already explained in mitzvah number 75, we cannot have an evil individual do testimony, as we brought there. וכן מי שאינו במקרא, לא במשנה ולא בדרך ארץ, שהוא פסול מדבריהם. Now, anyone who does not know how to learn Torah does not learn how to read, I guess. Let's see, משאינו במקרא ולא במשנה, ומתנהג כראוי עם הבריות, or doesn't behave properly, right? Abur Amaretz, he is not, his testimony is also not accepted from the rabbis' stand of view. Shechazaka alav shehu rasha, that there's everybody knows that he's an evil person. V'arektiv al tashet rasha'et, the Torah tells us an evil person cannot be a witness. Aval im yesh bo derech eretz ve'osek b'miktzad mitzvot, if somebody who has a proper etiquette and he does mitzvot, מקבלין אותו אף על פי שהוא עם הארץ. Even though he doesn't know much Torah, if he knows how to behave, you accept his testimony. מצד אומר, כל תלמיד חכם בחזקת כשר עד שיפסל. Anyone who learns Torah, he is fit to be a witness until he does something evil by the Beit Din who declares him that he is not trustworthy. ועם הארץ בחזקת פסול, however, a person who is not learning Torah, his testimony is not readily accepted unless we could establish him that he is a good person. Also, anybody who is self-degrading, doesn't have self-respect, in this case the Rabbanan will disqualify him from testimony. Okay, anybody who walks around and eats, if he's walking around and eating on the street, that person, in front of everybody, anyone who goes out without a proper dress, anybody who walks around without proper dress, his testimony cannot be accepted. Now, what does that mean? Anybody who goes around, the goyim giving out charity, and he goes around and takes money from the goyim for his sustenance, also will be prohibited to be a testimony. Okay, all other rules and reference to testimony, givers of testimony is going to be discussed in Gemara Sanhedrin and Shavuot. Obviously, witnesses are only men and not women. Anywhere in the world, we are obligated. No woman is allowed to be a witness in any form at all. Anyone who was demanded to appear as a witness in reference to monetary, Bardavar or Beidin, if the person, all the parties that are involved, all the Beidin, summoned him, and he did not want to come, or anybody who testified that somebody killed somebody, or hit somebody, or b'yisurin shel Torah me'atzmo, or any other prohibitions of the Torah, so if he sees a person transgressing any sin and he doesn't come forth, he's breaking this mitzvah of 122 commandment from Hashem, and his punishment is great. Because the only way that the world could settle, we could have a peaceful settlement in the world, is by testimony. And therefore we will write over there, therefore the Torah tells us that if a person doesn't come and say what he saw, he will carry the sin. ואם תהיה העדות אשר כבש עדות ממון וכיחש בעד ונשבע עליה, אוקיי, כלומר נשבע שאינו יודע לו עדות, חייב להביא קורבן עולה ויורד, ובתנאים הידועים העניין, כמו שמפורש במקומו בשבועות. והוא אחד בשלושה קורבנות, והאם בין על שוגג בין על מסית. So also, אשר כבש עדות ממון וכיחש בה, so a person knows a testimony, הוא יודע עדות זו, he knows that the person owes him and he doesn't come to testify. Then he comes and he swears falsely that he doesn't know the testimony, but he really does. Then he has to bring a korban for his sin, because he lied, he falsely swore that he doesn't know him, but really he does. So over there, then he has to be punished for that. And that by bringing a korban for his atonement. Have a wonderful day.